got a note for his parents to sign that said, "Mike is stretching his nostrils with the tip of a scissor during class." He had put a tip of the scissor in each nostril and carefully opened the scissor so that his nostrils stretched. The teacher understood the ridiculousness of the note, but made it anyway because having the parents read about such ridiculous behavior from their son was the best way to make him see that he was an idiot. What highly illegal thing took place at your high school? Some girl brought cupcakes made with CM, called them cumcakes, proceeded to ask everyone in class if they wanted one. High school coach didn't keep tabs on our team during a week-long beach trip to play games in Florida. Parents supplied kids with alcohol. One of my teammates snaps his neck diving into the ocean. Coach fired. Kid paralyzed. Literal chaos within our baseball program ensued. It was awful. I transferred. Not sure if illegal, but a girl smeared her own crap all over the bathroom walls and mirrors. Could this count as vandalism? Spanish teacher got arrested for illegally bringing over a 14-year-old Argentinian girl and keeping her as a hetzel. But since she was here illegally and wouldn't testify against him, she was deported and he came back to school later in the year. Come to find out a couple of years later he had molested like half of the girls' volleyball team he was the coach of. My senior year, one of my friends was murdered by her boyfriend and he drove around with her body in the trunk for a couple of hours. Also, a couple of kids got caught giving each other piercings in the stairwells. There were 4 freshmen in the bathroom stall just vaping and a teacher came in, so they freaked out and didn't want to get in trouble, so they thought calling the cops on the teacher for harassment would get them out of trouble. They got expelled an hour after the cops arrived. We had a science teacher say, "If you don't put goggles on, I'm going to have to spray you in the eyes with Lysol," which was probably not illegal until the student tried to call her bluff. She wasn't bluffing. This was middle school, but our computer teacher was fired after they caught him watching pee in the computer lab during lunch. Rumor has it, he was watching on the big projector screen they use for teaching. My gym teacher, originally a health ed teacher, got caught twice doing that and jerking it. All they did was turn him into the gym teacher, then made him back into the health teacher. The cool gang of kids, not me, I've never been anywhere near cool, got into a dare contest which ended up with one of them having to get a pair of knickers from a particular girl. She didn't want to play the game, so he ended up cornering her in a boys' toilet and cutting them off her with a knife. We never saw him at the school again. All games were banned. A teacher was caught getting physically intimate with an autistic student. I believe the student claimed to have loved her. Her dad was also a teacher at the same school and he left after the incident came out. This happened at my school too. Little bit of backstory first. Our school had a big renovation ongoing, and because of that, almost half of the school was closed down. The closed part included the biggest bathrooms, and because of that, the school administration ordered 2 toilet barracks to be placed on the schoolyard. So, some 9th graders decided to buy some toilet pipe opener liquid, I don't know what is the correct term, and aluminium foil. They put the aluminium foil inside some plastic bottles and poured a little pipe opener in them with the foil. As someone has probably done this before, knows what is going to happen next. They stuck 6 bottles total inside the toilet bowls in every stall of one barrack and blew them up due to the chemical reaction between the foil and the opener. All the pipings of the single barrack were destroyed due to water pressure inside the pipes. Turns out that the 2 barracks had connected pipings and the water that was in the bowls in the other barrack shot up to the ceiling due to pressure. The students never got caught, and if I remember correctly, the incident ended up costing a hefty amount for the school administration. The barracks were taken away and were replaced with new ones. After the incident, every recess there was a teacher in front on the barracks monitoring everyone going in and out. Nothing happened to the new toilets. Pre-internet days kinda. CDs were a thing. I had a massive CD collection in a gigantic book in my locker. I typed up lists of all the artists and albums I owned. So I had these flyers everywhere, and for $3 a CD would burn you a copy. This was right when CD burners came out, and my stepdad was super into the latest and greatest tech, so we had cool gadgets when they came out. I eventually was caught, but for a time I made killer money. A special ed kid got jumped by a dude on his way to school and was beaten bloody. The whole thing was recorded by the guy's girlfriend and her friend. The whole time they were cheering him on, yelling things like world star and so on. She later posted it on Instagram, which pissed off everyone, and just about everyone wanted to beat the dude up in the vid. He was given temporary suspension. Freaking BS. While the police took care of him. From what I know, he was given an assault charge. Also, side note, there was a girl at my school who was in minor league boxing who was ready to beat him up. She even tried looking for him by his house. Had this happen at my school too, the guy just didn't wind up so lucky and had the balls to come to school. His face was pretty broken afterwards. Our football coach took off with one of the girls in the high school and moved to Mexico and married her. He had a wife and kids. They then hired a brand new football coach who was 23 years old. Before the end of his first year, he was hooking up with an 18-year-old senior girl. They also took off and went somewhere. We went without a coach for a couple years. My teacher was molesting my 14-year-old classmate for a while. He went to jail and is still there 20 years later because another past victim came forward. So that's pretty illegal. One of the old teacher's aides got arrested for child pee and filming the elementary kids' bathroom. Elementary kids. Some people are so messed up, man. Drama teacher slept with the hottest chicks in class and nothing ever happened to him. Chili pee filming. 2 underage seniors from my graduating class filmed a full-on porno with some 20-year-old dude. Circulated to like 30 kids in the class and was a huge scandal for the school for a while. One of them was expelled while the other was just given a suspension cause she otherwise had a clean record and was on one of the sports teams. Not sure if they ever found the dude. Not my school, but friends. 2 students threw a chair from a balcony. They've hit an 8-month pregnant teacher. She passed out. The principal refused to let an ambulance evacuate her from school grounds because it'd tatter their school's reputation. So she has had the custodian drag the unconscious bleeding pregnant teacher out of the school, and only then she called the ambulance. The teacher has had a stillbirth consequently to that incident. 2 kids were making love in the toilets a few years ago and other 2 kids burned a desk inside the class. Grew up in a small town. When a lamb got sick and was dying, our ag teacher just had us go out behind the classroom building and shoot it. We ended up pulling a massive tapeworm out of it. Definitely not legal to have guns on campus, let alone use them. We slaughtered and butchered a hog with a massive hernia, mind you, big skin pouch full of innards hanging down, on school grounds for an ag class once. It was an anatomy lesson and a meats lesson in one. I went to an incredibly crappy school in London that was in special measures by the time I left at 18 after a year with about 50% attendance and 3 U grades at A level. It is apparently doing fairly well now since it has been amalgamated into the fold of a local superhead who runs several schools across the surrounding boroughs. But I will paste what I shared last time since people seemed to like it then. We had men dog hammer fight in my first week. Rush day. 1 day per year the kids in your 7 would just get random beats. A couple of stabbings year. Kid locked the woodwork teacher in the toilets. Woodwork teacher kicked the door off its hinges and set about the kid the very same way. Someone stole all the computers from the computer room. Kid was stripped and all his clothes and belongings were doused in lighter fluid and burned. Head teacher left for lunch one day and never came back. Our only person making the timetables was the admin business teacher. Died of a heart attack during a class. Starting the following year, no classes were organized for 2 months graduation year A2. To boot, still received weekly notices about attendance during that period. History teacher got pregnant by another teacher. Conception apparently on site. They weren't in a relationship. Someone started a rumor that she was violated and he was also a pedophile. He had to leave the school. Superhead brought in to get us shipshape. Known for taking no crap and turning schools around. Made her quit her entire decades-long career. Couldn't hire new teachers. Woodworking debt was abandoned after previous incident. Kid trapped another kid in there with a mind to reenact some hostile crap and tried to slice his femoral artery with a sharpened file. This is some Bullworth Academy crap right here. A teacher and an administrator embezzled millions. I didn't even know all this happened until years after graduation. Some of my friends had the teacher in question. Female freshmen would hang out in a teacher's classroom almost every day after school. People thought he was just a club sponsor and that she was very involved. A few weeks into the semester they were caught by police in an Airbnb and he was arrested.